Hey mamas, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm Christina and I am a homeschooling mom to 5 kids ages 3, 4, 7, 11, and 15. And in today's video, I am going to attempt to answer a question that I recently got over on Instagram, and that is, are we still using Gather Round? Now, if you are not familiar with Gather Round Homeschool is a homeschool curriculum that is family style learning. It is a unit study style of learning. And Gather Round was actually the very first homeschool curriculum that I tried because of the fact that it seemed to fit all of my needs and my heart and all of the things for what I wanted my homeschool to look like. And I absolutely love Gather Round. So this is more than a yes or no answer, which is why I decided, instead of adding it into my recent Q&A video, even though it was a 2-part series, this was a little bit of a longer answer to give you some insight as to why I haven't been talking about Gather Round lately, which is why I'm sure I got this question, because I used to talk about Gather Round all the time. So it is crazy to me when I actually realized it, when I was asked the question, that we have not used Gather Round at all this school year, sort of. So in the very, very, very beginning of the school year, we were finishing up the Ready to Read series. So we were on Ready to Read book 4 and we were finishing it up in like the first few weeks of school. I was using it as a reading program for my 7-year-old and we loved it. If you watched those videos or Instagram where I would talk about Ready to Read, one of the things that I loved about it, aside from the fact that it was a beautiful reading curriculum and beginning math curriculum, because that's in there too, for my 7-year-old when she was like late 5s through early 7s. It can be done in one school year, but that is not how we used it, because we did not do it daily. We did not even do it 4 days a week most weeks. And so it was wonderful. I have no complaints. I have no critiques about the curriculum. We loved it. What I also loved about it is that it included a short reading about whatever the topic was. For example, if it was on the savannah, which was book 4, there'd be a reading about a savannah flora or fauna. So it'd be about the acacia tree, for example. And it would be scientific information that we did not know most of the time, any of us, including my older children. And then there would be a Bible connection, which was served as like a short devotion or Bible study. And we would use that to start off our morning time many days for all of my kids, which was really, really cool, because although it was my 7-year-old and my 6-year-old at the time curriculum, it worked as a way to bring everyone together. It was like a short, fun little science lesson and devotion time to start off our morning time. When we ended that, I was like looking for what I was going to use to fill that place for most of our mornings. And I sort of replaced that with Playful Pioneers from the Peaceful Press, which I've talked about a ton this school year. So I'm not gonna go into that too much in this video. I'm gonna focus on Gather Round. However, although we were done with Ready to Read, in the past, we've always done Gather Round unit studies. We had short stints of time where we were doing solely Gather Round, and I want to speak to that too in a minute, because that has like tons of value for certain families as far as I'm concerned, my family included, in certain times and seasons. However, we always at least were doing one alongside other things, or maybe we didn't do one for a couple months, but then we would do one, and here we are in February, and we have not done any Gather Round units for this school year. I had planned to do chemistry. I had planned to possibly do intro to psychology, and then maybe one other unit study, which seems like it's not a lot for a school year to add those things in. But if you follow me, you know that I do a lot of different varieties of curriculum, and even just our own exploratory learning of different subjects and putting together our own unit studies and blending different curriculums and all of the things. And so we have not done any Gather Round homeschool this year. I hope to circle back around and do more Gather Round units. I really still want to do intro to psychology. And although we were going to do chemistry, I ended up getting the new chemistry unit from The Good and the Beautiful. And then true to form, I was like, you know what, maybe I'll do both and I'll blend them. I'll get the chemistry unit from Gather Round and I'll get the chemistry unit from The Good and the Beautiful and I'll blend them. And as of right now, I do not plan to do that. I'm like, you need to calm down. One little chemistry unit is enough. I was not looking for an intense, I've talked about this before, an intense, in-depth chemistry unit. We are looking to just kind of do an overview of chemistry, so to speak. And so we have decided to go with The Good and the Beautiful for that. And if you want to know more about that choice, then definitely let me know. I originally did not think I was going to go in that direction, because the one thing that's really cool about Gather Round is that when you do the unit studies, so not talking about the Ready to Read program, when you do the unit studies, there is the lesson, which is for everyone, and then there are the student level notebooks for like every age from pre-reader through high school. And I love that about Gather Round. It is an open and go curriculum. There is little to no prep, depending on if you buy it in a physical or digital form. If you buy it in a digital form, obviously you need to print and perhaps bind it, depending on how you choose to use it. So if you do not like to do a lot of planning, a lot of prep, a lot of gathering of books, a lot of printing and cutting of printables and things like that, Gather Round is amazing for that. If you are just starting out on your homeschooling journey and you are overwhelmed by having, a handful, 5 different curriculums for your child for the different subjects, or multiple different curriculums for different age kids for the different subjects, I highly recommend Gather Round. For me, it truly was a godsend in the beginning of my homeschool journey. It was the only thing that really seemed like the perfect fit for what my vision was for my homeschool. And it served us so well. And like I said, I hope to get back to Gather Round in the future. There are some units like the entrepreneurship unit and the intro to psychology, and there were a few more that I would really, really love to do over the next couple years. Will I get to any of those this year? I'm not so sure about that. It may be a next year thing. And so if you've noticed, I don't always stick to my plans when I make plans for the upcoming school year. Some things stick and some things do not. And then I just kind of decide as I go, like what's working, we'll keep it. What's not working, we'll perhaps toss it. Or maybe we don't want to add in another thing, so we're going to push that thing off or not do it at all that I thought we were going to do. And that's the beauty of homeschooling, is we get to make those shifts and changes. Not that we want to be all over the place, but that's the beauty of what we can do as homeschoolers, is we can decide this isn't right for this season. This isn't right for this child. This, for whatever reason, I want to make a change. I want to try something different and see if this fits better for them. And so right now, we are not using Gather Round Homeschool. It really wasn't like an intentional choice of like, we're not going to use Gather Round. It just kind of happened that way because we've added in a handful of other things that we weren't using in the past and kept some things that we were also using in the past. And so I am really trying to be careful, as much as I like to kind of blend things and try things and not be like stuck on one thing for the whole year. I'm trying not to like overwhelm us and overload us as well. And so as of right now, no, we are not using Gather Round Homeschool. Will we use it again in the future? It is highly likely, highly likely. So there may be a season where I'm like, I don't have it in me. You don't know what life is going to bring. I don't have it in me to print things and select things from mega bundles and print them and cut them and put them on cardstock and laminate them, or use Velcro dots or whatever it may be. And there might be a season where I'm like, I just need to order that in print and just have it show up to my door and go through lesson by lesson and still have joy because it's beautiful and it's well done. And you definitely, there's something to be added to it and the richness to it to add in books from the recommended book list, but you don't have to. And so that's one thing that's a little bit different, is right now we are drawn to more of a literature-based approach to curriculum, even for unit studies. And so we are doing like the gathering of books, whether it be from the library or from our own personal library, or combination, or buying books that we think that we want to own long term. And so Another thing that may be different that I'm just kind of actually realizing as I'm talking is I was a full-time working homeschool mom at the time that we were using Gather Round curriculum. And so I didn't have as much time to be like planning and prepping and all of those things. So Gather Round really gave us this rich, beautiful experience homeschooling, that it didn't feel like it was just replicating public school, and it didn't feel like we were just like doing an open go curriculum just for the ease of it and just for the convenience of it, but it was like dry and boring. It was beautiful and rich and all ready for us. And so I have nothing but good things to say about Gather Round. I know that there are people that love it, people that did not like it at all, people that land in the middle or like some units but not others. We really loved all of our experiences with the Gather Round units that we've done. We did all of the 4 books in the Ready to Read program. We did North American Birds, we did Asia, we did Indigenous Peoples, which was a mini unit. We did a Christmas mini unit, we did Artists. What else did we do? Oh, we did the US government mini unit. We did Farming and Food. Trying to think if there was anything else we did from them. I can't remember off the top of my head, but we did at least those and we liked all of them. And I do love, again, that it is open and go. I love that you can teach all of your different age kids together. And yeah, so nothing but good things to say about Gather Round. Definitely will be revisiting Gather Round in the future, as far as I know at this point in the game. Don't hold me to it. But yeah, I'm interested to hear, do you use Gather Round? Have you tried it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are there certain units that you're like, when you get back into Gather Round, you have to do this one? Or are there certain units that you're like, yeah, you might want to skip that one. We weren't crazy about it. And I know those things will be different for different families and different kids as well, based on their interest and their learning style and season of life and all the things. So I hope if you had that same question, or that was your question, that explains where we are with Gather Round as far as our homeschool goes. If you have questions about Gather Round, I would love to answer them, because we do have quite a bit of experience with Gather Round homeschool curriculum. If you are new to my channel, I would hope you would subscribe and stick around. I love to get to know you guys. Introduce yourself in the comments below. If you're not already following me over on Instagram, you can follow me there at rooted_homelife. And I hope to see you soon in one of my next videos. Until next time, stay rooted.